All right, my friends, let's go over 5 common mistakes when driving stick shift. Even if you know how to drive stick, you're probably committing at least one of these mistakes. Some of these took me months or years to learn after I already knew how to drive stick shift. So I hope this helps at least one person enjoy driving stick shift more, drive smoother, and improve longevity on their car. So the first thing is, imagine we're at a red light. A lot of people will actually have their foot on the clutch and remain in gear. Now, this is not good for your throwout bearing. And some people will argue that, well, it's not a big deal, cars are designed for this. Actually, no, they're not. So you should only be on the clutch when you're actually starting the car or moving the gear shift, really. That's the only time you should be doing this. As an example, with my old Scion FRS, the throwout bearing was a common point of failure. And even if you were doing things correctly, not holding the clutch in at a red light, then you would see failure around 70 to 80,000 miles. And if you were in the bad habit of doing this, you'd see it much sooner, 50, 60,000 miles, or even earlier than that, which is added cost, added expense, added downtime for your vehicle. So don't do that. Number 2 is over-revving. So when I used to take my Scion FRS to a certain popular 8.6 and Subaru shop in Las Vegas, the owner taking my car for a spin, I'd be riding passenger, he would really rev it a lot before he would let go of the clutch, like this. And obviously not good for your clutch. Why do guys do that? Well, no one likes to stall a car. It's a little bit emasculating, a little bit humiliating. And one way to make sure you definitely don't stall is to give it a lot of revs. But when you give it a lot of revs, then the issue is you're adding a lot of wear and tear that is unnecessary on your drivetrain components, on your clutch especially. And you don't want to be doing that. So I kid you not, this guy was like revving it to 2,500, 3,000 RPM before letting off the clutch, and I'd be like cringing, like, yo, bro, is there a reason why you're doing that? Can we not add additional wear and tear on my clutch, please? And on the opposite end, if you don't give it enough gas, then you're more likely to stall the vehicle. Overall, it is better, in my opinion, to occasionally stall the vehicle rather than to constantly be over-revving the engine when you're starting from a stop and adding that accelerated wear and tear on your clutch. Now, the actual sweet spot and what you want to be striving to do is find the balance point where you're not stalling and you're also not lugging the engine by having the revs too low, but you're also not going so hard that you're adding accelerated wear and tear on the clutch. So I'll show you as an example here. So starting from a stop, if I go here and I give it not enough, like the car didn't stall, but it almost did, it's starting to lug, that's not good. And if I over-rev it, and then I let go of the clutch, again, not ideal. So the ideal thing that you want to do is find the point where every car is a little bit different, but you have to give and take. It's like a musical instrument where you're going to give it a little bit of gas and slowly and smoothly get going without lugging the engine or accelerating that wear and tear on your clutch. Number 3 is not really gently pulling the gear shift in the direction that it wants to go. So this is the thing that took me way too long to learn, and honestly years. So to get to 5th right now, what you have to do is, of course, go from 4th up into neutral, then right, and then up into 5th. But we don't really think about that when we're actually shifting. We just kind of push in that direction. So let's say right now in 3rd, I just pull back to 4th, that's easy. But when you're going across gates, like 4th to 5th, or 5th to 4th, or 3rd to 2nd, etc., sometimes we just kind of shove it in that direction, like at a diagonal. So here from 4th to 5th, pretty simple, pretty easy. But when you're driving a car harder, you want to be more mindful and more gentle with the gear shift to not be ham-fisting things and adding wear and tear. So as an example here, from 3rd, rather than just pulling this way to get into 2nd, what I'm going to do is more intentionally move it in the pattern it wants to go. So like that. Much smoother into 2nd. I don't know why I did a double clutch there, just to have it, I guess. Let's just do a regular rev match downshift from 3rd into 2nd, just like that. So rather than pulling like this, I am guiding it in that movement that it wants to do. And this is just a little bit more mechanical sympathy, going a little bit easier on the car. And it took me way too many years to learn that. Number 4. Oh, squirrel! God, these adrenaline junkie squirrels. So, number 4 is resting your hand on the gear shift because you think you're gangster, you think you're cool by leaning back a little bit, driving like this, which is honestly stupid. I was going to say some other word, but I don't want to get canceled. And look, you need to be at 9 and 3 to have the best control over your car, especially when you're pushing it. Driving like this is, I mean, I get it. I'm a kid from the 90s. We watched whatever rap videos and stuff, and you know, people leaning back like this, people thought it was cool. No, it's really not. Just sit up straight, 9 and 3, and don't add additional wear and tear to your shift fork by resting your hand and adding this pressure here. It's not designed for that. And yes, it's going to be a slow thing that's going to, it's not like your transmission is going to fail tomorrow if you start doing this, right? But again, mechanical sympathy, adding wear and tear, this is one thing that honestly my ex hated it, I would say, but maybe that's part of the reason why she's my ex. I think that in life there's a right and a wrong way to do most things. There are certain things where there are multiple right ways to do it. As an example, in art, there are multiple correct ways of doing art because art is art. But when it comes to something like driving, there are clearly right and wrong ways to do certain things. Driving like this is a wrong way. And even in the operating room, we had the same mindset, which was, why would you ever do things in the way that is just based on preference versus based on intentionality of achieving a desired outcome with the highest chance of success, the lowest risk of mistakes and errors and negative outcomes and complications. So it's like, why do things worse unless there's a strong reason to, other than, hey, I feel like it, or hey, I think it's cool, right? Oh my God, little quail. What is up today? All these adrenaline junkie animals. So, the other thing that I want to go over, the final thing, point number 5, is, this is another one that tripped me up. The first couple months I was learning how to drive stick shift, I still remember, I had my Scion FRS, I had just started med school, I was talking to my buddy who had a Z3M Roadster, and he had been driving stick for years, and I was trying to learn. I was like, hey man, like, I'm trying to be smoother and better as I'm driving stick shift, but why is it that between each gear shift, you know, I used to have a little bit of feathering, but everyone tells me never be on the clutch when you're on the gas, and now I'm trying to strictly follow that, but now my upshifts aren't actually all that smooth. And I'll show you what I was doing back then. So the funny thing is I actually was doing the right thing initially of having that slight overlap, but then hearing that you should never have your clutch and throttle overlapping in inputs made me think I was doing something wrong and causing more wear and tear on the car. So then I was trying to be very strict about not having any overlap, and then all of my upshifts were jerky. So as an example, from third here, let's say I'm accelerating, I want to get it to fourth, I would clutch in, go to fourth, all the way out, and then get on the accelerator. And right now going downhill, we actually don't really notice it. I'll show you again when it's flatter. The issue is that you would then feel that little bit of, you know, the torque gap and a little bit of movement forward and back, which is not pleasant. You don't want to do that. So let me show you again. So let's say I'm in third, or even let's go down into second, and then from second, I accelerate, third, and there was just like this little bit of choppiness. But actually what you want to do, again, we talk in like broad strokes and principles when you're learning how to drive stick shift, but there's actually a lot of nuance. So when you're actually driving smoothly, look at my pedal cam, you're gonna actually have a little bit of overlap. So my foot gets to the engagement point of the clutch, and right around that time is when I'm getting on the throttle to then smoothly let go of one to the other. I'm not getting clutch slip, right? So like when you're starting from a stop in first gear, you need to have a little bit of that slip. I'm not doing that, but what I'm trying to do is shorten the time period between there being any engagement with the clutch and any lack of torque. Because if the clutch fully engages, you get to that bite point on your pedal, but then you still wait longer, and if you wait all the way until you get off and then get on the throttle, now there's this extra lag between when the engine to the wheels are connected and when you actually get on the throttle. And that's not smooth. So yes, as a principle, you don't want to be on the throttle and the clutch at the same time when you're driving, but in actuality, there's a very slight overlap, and it comes down to when the clutch engagement point is and how much throttle you're giving. It has to be a very smooth give and take. You want to get to the point, I mean, if you want to pursue mastery and you know you find that fun, and I think most people would if they tried it. If you want to be smoother and driving at night with someone in the passenger seat, I would take pride if they would be shocked at like 15 or 20 minutes into the drive, like, wait a second, this is a manual transmission? Because they couldn't see my hands, and it was so smooth going between gears, both upshifting and downshifting. And I think that's something that if you pursue and if you approach and if you try to improve that craft, you'll find a lot of enjoyment. And I would actually argue that most people would enjoy this, because that's why you enjoy driving stick in the first place, because you find automatic a little bit dull, not quite as engaging. Yeah, because there's this added challenge and involvement with stick, and you enjoy that. Now, if you keep upping the ante, if a beginner first tried doing that level of driving, they'd get overwhelmed and say, hey, fuck this, I'm done. But if you just start as a beginner, just try to move the car, try not to mess up your transmission or engine. That's step one. But once that feels automatic to you, then you just up the ante each time. And that is where you keep pursuing that little bit of challenge, that little bit of pursuit of mastery that makes it so much more fun and engaging. And I'd argue most people would really enjoy it if they tried that out. Anyway, my friends, let me know what you think of these 5 common mistakes of driving manual transmissions. If you have any others to add, please drop them with a comment down below. Much love, my friends, and I'll see you all in that next one.